So finally, the tuner portion of Tracer is actually going to have some significant meaning in Duel Links. And no, it's not because we got Savage Dragon. Not quite yet, thankfully. Instead, we got Savage Dragon at home, which means a top tier, already tier 3 deck list just got itself quite a significant upgrade. So here's today's deck list. Now just a reminder before I get into the deck list, if you guys are enjoying today's video and want to see more content just like this in the future, especially if you're a returning viewer, as apparently about 35% of you are watching this or even subscribed to the channel, means 65% of you haven't even clicked that button yet. So if you guys are enjoying this content and will see more videos just like this one in the future, I still have a couple of videos planned around the latest box too, including a Starry Night video, a video around Abyss Actor, and a brand new tier list video based around the brand new box chips, telling you which cards are probably your best investments from the current pool of cards. So if you're interested in seeing any of those videos, remember to leave a like on this video and consider subscribing to the channel down below. Alright, let's jump into the deck list. Alright, so we're going to keep the deck list portion of this video exceptionally short because honestly, Rocket is already a top tier archetype, it's a very popular archetype, and it's a recently released archetype, so I've already done a video on this not too long ago, so 99% of people, if not everyone watching this, probably has some idea of what Rocket does already, if not all of you, so it's kind of pointless for me to go through all the cards in here, but if you don't know what the cards do, don't worry, during the gameplay it's not exactly the most advanced deck list, so you should get a rough idea of what I'm doing anyway, so it's not exactly that hard. But what I will go through is the brand new Void Ogre Dragon. This card is crazy for Rocket. This card takes 1 Dark Tuner plus 1 or more non-tuner monsters and is level 8, so obviously just a copy of Tracer plus any of your other Rockets, and you've got this bad boy out. Once per turn during either player's turn, when your opponent activates a spell or trap card whilst you have no cards in your hand, you can negate the activation. If you do, destroy it. So the only requirement for this thing to negate is you have no cards in your hand. In an archetype that has a field spell, that can summon out 2 monsters straight to the field. So the only hand where you're actually not going to be able to sort of negate with this thing is if you open 4 monsters. That's like it, because otherwise you'll just use your field spell, summon 2, normal summon another, and all of a sudden you're just good to go. So this card is going to be crazy in this deck list. Going first, it's going to be a negate. Even going second during your turn, you can summon it out to force out your opponent's back row or just make it so their back row is pretty irrelevant. It's a crazy card, as you'll see during all the gameplay. As for tech options for this deck list, honestly it's completely up to you, as this deck list is extremely versatile, as most of the cards in here outside the core engine is just whatever you feel like playing. I personally feel like you should play 3 copies of Dragon's Mirror, as it feels really goddamn good in combination with Synchro Monsters, which is one of the deck's main goals now, so you can summon out your Void Ogre Dragon, put your materials in the graveyard, and all of a sudden you have the materials ready with Dragon's Mirror to summon out your Borreload Furious Dragon whenever you feel like it. So I feel like that's sort of a really nice combo, so I'm going to keep triple Dragon's Mirror in here. But as for the other tech cards like the Compulse or the Forbidden Lance, it's sort of whatever you feel like playing. Honestly for me, Forbidden Lance has been sort of underused. I found that most back row I could dodge with my Rocket Tracer anyway, or my opponent would activate back row and I just wouldn't really care. Like they'd flip one of my monsters face down, I'd just summon out another 2 because I have a field spell that does double special summon, I have a quick play spell that does another special summon. It's really easy to sort of play through your opponent's shit anyway, so if you want to play more back row instead of Forbidden Lance, that's something you should probably try out, as it does feel probably better honestly, but I'm not really sure, I haven't really tested it yet, so that's up to you. As for the rest of the deck list, it's just your sort of typical Rocket stuff, so that's going to do it for the deck list portion. Let's jump into some gameplay. Alright, so as you can see from my match history, I had a pretty good run with this deck list. I got at least 1 rank up, and I think I won 7 out of the 10 games or something I played with it, which is obviously a fairly decent run. This deck list, you don't really take my word for it. This archetype's already considered a top tier archetype, so even if you're not playing my variant of the deck list, there's so many different other ways you could play Rocket, and they're all considered good, because this archetype is just a good archetype, so it's just a better archetype now that it has Void Ogre. So even if you're not going to play my variant, just toss in this Void Ogre into your deck list, and it's going to be an improvement. Alright, let's get into the replays. So I've recorded 4 replays today, all of which I'm not sure if they all used Void Ogre, but most of them did, so yeah. Alright, let's get into it. So this was against, I think, Orcust, where I had a very bricky hand. Yeah, I wasn't really sure what I was meant to do with this hand, because I don't think I even drew any decent back row either. Yeah, it was an awkward hand. So honestly, this kind of hand is awful because one, I drew my field spell. You never want to draw this. I think this is why most people play like 25 to 30 card variants of Rocket, just so they don't draw this card or have less chance of drawing it. Because it's really annoying. It's just sort of a -1 in your hand now. And everything else in here, I didn't draw a Tuna monster, which is really rough. I can't go to Void Ogre. And I've just got a Dragon's Mirror, so I can go into my Link monster, then I can activate Dragon's Mirror and Fusion Summon, but that feels... So I'm just gonna summon Nightmare and pass. Whether or not this is the best play or not, I don't know. I don't really care. It'll do. Alright, quick launch, gonna summon out a Tracer. Popping my field spell to summon out another monster. These two can now go into Void Ogre. I made sure to set my Dragon's Mirror so I already have my negate active as soon as I summon this, in case he's got something that's going to be used on summon. Dragon's Mirror using the materials, I just put Engrave, summon at my Furious. And yeah, he can't really do a whole lot here, so he's just dead. He didn't even bother trying to activate any of this. He did have Slain that was activatable, I just assumed it wasn't, yeah, didn't really matter because I had Void Ogre. Or I was baiting with a Cosmic or something, who knows. Either way, he wasn't able to play through my, my Nightmare either. Alright, replay number 2. Yeah, this card had a much bigger impact on this deck than I thought it did. I thought it'd be something you'd occasionally summon turn 1, and that'd be about it. But there were so many times going second where I was still just able to summon this card, because your opponent is always very reluctant to use Backcrow on your Tuna monster that has the ability to sort of pop your other cards or pop itself to just bring out other stuff from deck, because it feels like an absolute waste of time. So if you just get 2 dudes on field, a lot of the time you just summon out your Void Ogre before your opponent's willing to use anything. Alright, so here I'm using my quick launch, summoning out my Tuna. Burrow launch, bringing out my field spell. Now I can activate field spell, special summon to the field. Then I'm going to pop my field spell, bringing out my Silver Rocket Dragon. Now this is a play you're going to make against deck lists where you know what your opponent's playing, and you know the deck list is quite reliant on their skill, or they're reliant on a particular combo point. So for example, in Orcust, you can get rid of their Mermaid, and all of a sudden, their deck list just sort of, it dies a little bit. It becomes a lot harder for them to play the game. Similarly, there's this deck list over here, this Raging Pendulum, that is super reliant on their extra deck having a particular card in it to use their skill. So I'm just going to use my Booster Dragon to pop my Silver Rocket Dragon here, which then looks at my opponent's extra deck, grabs the particular card, grabbing his Odd Eyes Raging Dragon, setting my background, passing the turn. Now although this end board doesn't look all that great, doesn't really do a whole lot, I've only got 1 Compulse, he also can't really play the game as well, because he can't use his skill anymore, so that plus like 2 or 3 or whatever the skill normally does, just isn't activatable. So he has to try to play without it, which feels pretty awful. He did have a fairly decent hand still to sort of try to do so, but yeah, it was sort of okay. So he's going to Pendulum Summon out, chuck in a couple of boys on the field. Nothing to be scared of here, this just goes into that Synchro monster, doesn't do anything, he doesn't play Black Crows or anything. Goes into his Odd Eyes Meteor Burst, we can now return that to hand, get rid of it with my Compulse. God, I'm stuttering. Yeah, and from here, this field doesn't really do anything, and every time he gets rid of my stuff, I'm just going to keep summoning stuff back during the end phase anyway, so he just concedes because, you know, it's pretty much over. Alright, replay number 3. So yeah, I want to get at least 1 replay showing off the extra deck rep, because a lot of matchups where you just know your opponent's playing Orcust, or you know your opponent's playing the Odd Eyes skill or whatever, you just rip one of their important monsters, and they're just like, well, guess I lose, I guess. This I was on a 7-game win streak. Alright. He went first as well. I think he said a lot of background. Yeah, he did. And thankfully I drew Allowance, so... Quick launch, summoning out a copy of my monster. Making sure to do the combo. You generally have to have the... I'm not sure if they fixed this or not, but you have to have the... You used to have the toggle on for this, where you'd summon this card, you'd activate your quick launch, then in response to your quick launch, you'd activate Rocket Tracer to pop it. I'm not sure if that combo still has to have the toggle on or not, but yeah, I had the toggle on just in case it was still that way. Alright. Getting my field spell out. Alright. Summoning out my Booster Dragon. See if we can bait out any Backcrow. He has a Warning Point. Forbidden Lance. He has another lot of Backcrow, which is completely fine, honestly, because I don't really care. I can still keep playing. And with no cards in hand, this is the easiest Void Ogre of my life. You know, that last back row is completely worthless, and I still have a Compulse set. Get rid of his first monster, because I think without that monster, he's not really going to be able to play the game. Borrow Launch, summoning my dude. Mirror Force. And he's dead. Goddamn Mirror Force being played, okay. Alright. Final replay. Alright, I forget what this one was. Not the Pendulum player, I'm guessing? Is this the guy using the wrong skill? I came across a Pendulum guy that was playing the other skill. No, I wasn't. He was playing Raging Pendulum. Not even the, like, the X and X skill. He was playing some other random-ass default Pendulum skill or something. Either way. This is a rare occurrence of them not opening the Pendulum Call. I feel like every time I come across this deck, they always open it. I think his end board wasn't that great anyway. If I recall, anyway. Didn't get a chance to rip his extra deck though, because obviously he went first, so... Oh yeah, this is the guy that this guy was weird. So I was like, oh, he knows the like pseudo counter this deck has, where you can just summon out Abyss Dweller, which feels pretty good into this archetype. But then he never used the Dweller. He literally didn't activate it. So I don't know if he was waiting to go to the end phase, or during my end phase or something, he was waiting to use this for some reason. I don't really know. Either way, doing the combo as was shown before, popping my spell card, summoning out my rocket, summoning out my other rocket, going into my booster dragon. He's going to remove that before I get to pop my card to pop his card, but popping this card, it's now going to summon a card to the field. Again, still hasn't used Abyss Dweller for some reason. Quick launch, summoning out another monster. Borrow Launch, making sure to set my card because I'm planning to go into my boss monster. Out comes the Void Dragon. Void Ogre Dragon. Now with the materials engraved, I could use my Dragon's Mirror, summon out my fusion, and he was very, 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 very dead. Alright guys, that's going to do it for today's replays. Hope you guys enjoyed them. If you did, leave a like, subscribe, all that kind of stuff. Remember, I still have a bunch of videos planned this week, so if you want to see all those, remember to leave a like, watch this, subscribe, all that kind of stuff. And yeah, thank you for watching. Catch you in the next one. Laters.
Hey, big brother, can I watch SpongeBob? Shut up, Mokuba. I'm busy flagging YouTube videos to compensate for the fact that I have an extremely small penis. Oh.